following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.
All right, after a week off of week 13, we come back to you with 2 races to go in the iRacing Gen 4 Series from the Kentucky Speedway. Except it's not the new Kentucky Speedway, the one that we've raced the last few seasons before NASCAR stepped away from the Kentucky Speedway during COVID. Instead, it's the old rendition. That's right, some call it the Legacy track. That's going to leave a mark. As we welcome you into Tuesday night, Gen 4 Racing, the TI Series here from the old Kentucky Speedway. Yes, it is possible. I'll explain to the newcomers on iRacing how this is possible tonight. But we are racing on an old Kentucky track tonight in the Gen 4 cars. It's more preferred to a lot of the drivers. And that's why we're here tonight ready to go for race number 9 of this TI Gen 4 Series. Now, before we get down to qualifying here in just a couple of minutes, let's take a look at the point standings. Let me get the right ones loaded up. That's my AI stuff that I like to do. I thought I had the right one loaded up here, but here's slacking me on the broadcast. I literally got done recording a podcast a little bit ago, so getting everything set up, I thought I was good, but I'm not. There we go. Casey Carrington leads points over Brandon Alphin by 2. This is with the drops included. Of course, Casey's had all but a perfect season so far here this season in that 37 car. Brandon Alphin second, home track for him. Stephen Miles third, Bryson, Chris Lewis your top 5. Josh Dillon, Ty Young, Matt Telder, Ryan Whitaker, Daniel Giroux. Got some interesting news on him in a few minutes I'll be sharing. But, yeah, we're ready to go here from this virtual Kentucky Speedway. All that's left is here in Talladega next week before we finish out the 10th season of ARCA/Gen 4 Racing here in the TI Racing Series. And we appreciate all the viewers here joining us this evening. Going to go out here and qualify for a minute. We'll try to talk to a driver or two before we get out there. And, hate that it was kind of a rush to get on the air tonight, but, want to be able to give you more time to enjoy the broadcast pre-race and stuff and talk about things, but unfortunately, it's the way it goes sometimes. So let's see. First one, I think, who's going to cross the line here as I peek over at the cameras. I thought was going to be Jake, but it's not. It's actually going to be Kyle Ethier in the 2 car. So what is the difference between the old Kentucky Speedway and the new Kentucky Speedway? Well, it's simple. The old Kentucky Speedway was a straight-up D-shaped oval with 15 degrees of banking all the way around the track, and that's what we're looking at right here. The new Kentucky Speedway has the 17 degrees of banking in turn 1 and 2 that is actually pushed out a little bit more. It's actually more narrow, and 3 and 4 looks just like this. It's kind of like they did at Texas, and that's why people like this track. Now, what allows us to run the old Kentucky still? Well, the fact that, 1, they released the setups, and they keep the setups in iRacing for us to run an old track like this, but 2, obviously they give us the option to race at this track. As Ether right now on the pole at a 30.83. Good lap from him. Dean second, Ty Young third. Let's see who else we get to watch on the track. How about Colby Wells, last week's winner? But they give us the option to run this track. And again, a lot of people prefer this track than the newer track, obviously the way it races. So get them out here, and not to mention the lights here at Kentucky and so on and so forth. As Colby crosses the line, you get the older oh wait a minute, I just saw what Casey put in there. I was like, what? Anywho. Ethier, Dean, Young, Alphin, Sammy Davis moves up to 5th. Alex Bryson up to 8th. Was it Carrington talking about somebody? I guess he's having some kind of connection issues. That's not good. Well, hopefully he can get in there in the next couple of minutes or so. Alex Bryson, 30.78. He goes P1 now on the boards. And here's Stephen Miles on the track. Obviously, Telder out there running a lap right now as he must have tagged. He ran a 31.50 on lap 1. So, obviously, probably throwing away that lap. And let's see what Miles can do here on lap number 2. Here's your qualifying right now. As Miles goes P7 with a 30.94, Matt Telder spins off turn 4. And qualifying about 20 seconds from being over with here. Let's Let's go ahead and step away for the anthem and come back, and we can get you an interview or something before the race begins here. But we'll come back right now. Let's go trackside for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, the anthem in the books. As we go trackside now for the starting lineup. I was hoping Casey got in the race. Looks like he's good so far. Hopefully he won't have any more issues. That's why I was kind of stalling. So I was like, man, hopefully everything's okay. All right, as I mentioned, the lineup. Alex Bryson on the pole, 30.782. He beats out Kyle Ethier by 4/100ths. Christopher Dean and Ty Young. Ty with a 4th place start there in that 28 car. Stephen Miles. Brandon Alphin, hometown driver there, starting in 6th. Sammy Davis and Josh Gagnon will take row number 4. Row 5, Devin Ramsey coming off a win last night in another league. And Josh Dillon in the 10th position. Colby Wells, Landon Durhold back for a second straight week. Landon will start there in the 12th position. Nick Uricchio, Jacob Gibson, row number 7, row 8. Craig Martin, Dylan Rosenberg. Steve Melnick, Logan Dinsmore in row 9. Matt Telder, Ryan Whitaker, row 10. Randy Cornwell, Zach Mertes in row 11. There's Carrington right now still in the field, which is good. He'll start next to Chris Lewis. And Aaron Beaver will be the last starter. That apparently is not showing up on my grid now. That's because I'm clicking the wrong button. There's Aaron. .68 degrees, 43% humidity, cloudy skies, 14-mile-an-hour winds, 85 laps tonight. The 2 sets of tires, and the 50% fuel. So should be a 3 or 4 stop race when it's over with, as the pace truck pulls off into the hands of Kyle Ethier and Alex Bryson on the front row, as for some reason my camera switches to the backstretch. As we go green from Kentucky, legacy style, old school racing in the Gen 4s. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You check them out online on Facebook and the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. And as they spread out the bottom side, a lot of bumps on this track. So I think the best way around here is going to be the middle as Ty Young moves Kyle Ethier up. So excuse me, sir, give me some room. That middle groove between the first and second white lines probably going to be a best way around this track. But I think you're going to see this track spread out as Bryson leads lap 1. Of 85. Look at him all the way up to the wall almost. This track very wide. One of the widest tracks that you can run in iRacing is right here in Kentucky. I mean, this track, I want to say at least 75 feet. Probably you can see the bumps, cars porpoising through 3 and 4 there. There's Colby Wells, last week's winner at Iowa. The 6-2 is inside of Sammy Davis. Now, if you're Carrington, you got to be careful here. Obviously, being the points leader, he's going to want to get through this field as much as he can. He's already up to the 17th spot, gone by Ramsey. And there he is now outside of Telder. And around goes Craig Martin in the back. That's going to bring the first caution out. Chris Lewis through the grass. And apparently those with triple digits are not going to be happy. Caution out for the first time. And I think, did Uricchio get a part of that or no? I think it was just maybe 2 cars. Let's see what took place here. Oh, Lewis has gotten the back of, I don't know if Craig had to check up there, but you see the contact between the 2 cars. I mean, in fairness, Lewis did warn us he would have issues tonight probably. Which, by the way, while Chris was gone and while we were all off last week, it kind of worked out as a blessing in disguise for the man. Oh, yeah, he just got in the back of him. Mr. Lewis became a father for the first time. So congratulations to he and his partner on the birth of a child. And Chris just had a good run and just runs over Craig. Don't know how else to put that one. Well, caution out. Got some cars coming to pit road for fuel. Gonna put some people off strategy here. Let's go talk to AB real quick here, who was the pole sitter. Actually, yeah, let's talk to AB first and get him here with us. AB, you got a copy, bud?
I sure do.
I was going to try to talk to you before the race, but obviously some things going on and me rushing to get on the air. Wanted to make sure everything was smooth. But
Absolutely.
Looking good in that Steve Park paint or Kenny Wallace, whatever paint you want to call that. Nice pole, and so far so good.
Yeah, I mean, totally unexpected. I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised I've even led 6 laps. I mean, then again, like, what, 2 have been under caution. There's some really fast race cars behind me. I know Christine really loves worn out race surfaces, so he's going to be up here battling. I'm not even going to contest him when he gets to me. I know my other teammates, Alfin and Miles, they'll be up here before you know it. So, yeah, just honestly shocked. I mean, I knew I laid a lap down, but I didn't think it was going to be that quick. But we'll just take it in stride and take it lap by lap and see what we can do with this 38 Chevrolet.
How's this combo? Obviously, Gen 4 car and the old Kentucky.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Nostalgic. Love it. I mean, there's nothing better, right?
Right. I mean, is it driving? I mean, I know a couple of people said loose. Is that what you're feeling? A little free out there?
Yeah. Loose is an understatement for someone like me who is just loose wherever I go in this car, just because there's so much darn horsepower and it's just so hard to contain and control. But yeah, loose everywhere. I mean, I think in my opinion, I don't care what lane you're in. I think you're just going to be loose in general. It's just trying to find it, trying to get it to where it needs to, you know, stick and go from there. But yeah, it's definitely loose. No one's lying about that. They're 100% correct.
Nice. I saw the grooves are opening up too. I see all the way from pretty much the white line. I wouldn't say the yellow line quite yet because it's a little bumpy down there. But at least from the first white line up to the wall almost, I saw them racing at the beginning there. So looks like it's going to be wild. So best of luck, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Sounds good. Alex Bryson started on the pole leading tonight here. Congratulations on the pole for him. But we're getting ready to go back to racing. And the reason why he says nostalgic, believe it or not, this car never ran this track. Kentucky was not on the Cup schedule until the Gen 5 car, or I'm sorry, Gen 6 car. So we never got to see what an old school Cup race would look like at this track. We always had the at the time Busch or Xfinity series with the trucks and IndyCar and stuff like that. As we go back racing, 6 laps in the books. 8 of the top 10 cars did not pit. Speed's probably close to 190 miles an hour down to turn 3. Carrington been trying to gain some spots in that Pontiac there in that 37. He's got Miles behind him who topped off the fuel cell. A lot of these guys in the back just topped off or got damage fixed under that caution. And it's right here, the first battle on the track is there's Gagnon in that 79 car. Colby Wells right there with him. Casey Carrington, who is inside. Battle for 5th right here. Of course, Colby, as I mentioned, the winner last week at Iowa, or 2 weeks ago. Carrington, the winner of the most races so far this season. And the reason why he's the points leader. Ty Young looking pretty good there. Underneath Christopher Dean. Meanwhile, hometown boy Brandon Alfin swings to the front in that 21 car. The Dales Pools and Spa. Number 21, the Mount Washington driver out of Kentucky, takes the lead in this race. As Dean is having warping issues all of a sudden. And I think we lost Chris Dean. No, we got Chris Dean back. Let's say the Texas driver there. Lost him for almost a whole lap, and he comes back as Colby gets the wall. And a couple cars tangled up here. Ryan Whitaker and Dylan Rosenberg. A couple unhappy people probably after that. We stay green, though. See the sun starting to set. Of course, this track is very unique. not only the layout, but the way it's all set up. Caution. We'll get that here in a second. Zach Mertes has spun over here in 4 with Craig Martin. Ooh, Craig's not having a good night. Let's see what happens to the O2 car. Not sure why my camera's over here, but we're going to fix it real quickly. Stand by for 1 second. Because we're probably going to have the leaders on pit road. But sometimes I try a chance with the camera and it doesn't work. Devin Ramsey's taking his car behind the wall. Sometimes I have to go find out what camera this is and fix it. Alright. Back to where we were doing. Sometimes you get a stray one out there in the middle of the open that acts up. Alright, what happened to Mertes? Oh, he gets tagged by Lewis. And then Mertes gets into Martin. And Whitaker gets clobbered. Oh, you got some cars out here having issues tonight. Let's go crash cam here. That's where Lewis gets into him. Nice save. At least he's still trying to save it. And here comes Martin. And Martin just becomes an innocent bystander here. All right, so pit stops. As Telder and Uricchio are going to stay out. You'll see those who stay out up there at the top, Uricchio and Cornwell. Everybody else on pit road should be fuel only. Bryson with that first pit stall wins the race off pit road. If you see anything over 10 seconds, those guys are probably either getting damage fixed or tires. You see everybody pretty much fuel only from Telder all the way down. So a little bit of strategy here as we've had 2 early cautions here. And what has been a rather clean slate of racing here these last few weeks on this side. Appreciate the viewers who are checking in tonight. Hello to you guys. Tom Baker watching, Nestor Diaz, of course, Lewis and Casey Carrington, who were checking in earlier in the stream before the race began. But appreciate everybody, as usual, watching tonight. 16 viewers or so far. So, good number after a week off of racing. Of course, now, tonight's the start of 4 straight nights of racing. So if you want to check out the stream, you can always check us out each and every night this week. Tonight here at Kentucky. Tomorrow night we go to California. Thursday night it is Michigan. And then ready for this, from Friday until next Monday, except for Saturday, we are at Bristol. We have a short track racing all weekend long. So looking forward to that. So I was talking about the uniqueness of this track before that caution came out. So first things first, let me see if I can do a blimp view of this and show this off a little bit. So the track is literally the shape of a D. And there's a reason behind this. The track is actually a D. The garage, if we can get the camera all the way around here, right here where this blue is actually a W. Now, yes, they're out of... Darrell Waltrip is based out of Franklin, Tennessee. That's his so-called hometown, but they're all from Owensboro, Kentucky. And when they built this track, they literally put the initials DW in the track. So the track is... Oh, and around! Restart issues! Gagnon just got sent packing off the front end of Gibson. The restart follies. Telder waited to start the race, which is his right to do. The only thing that didn't make sense out of that whole thing when they did the DW thing is they made the track 15 degrees of banking and not 17, which you'd have thought they would do for DW being number 17. That's just me. But also this track layout, as Alphen trying to get to the bottom and Randy Cornwell there with him. The track sits right at the border. It's in a town called Sparta, right off of I-71. Now, I-71 pretty much runs parallel, as Telder being defensive with Cornwell, right down the state line from Cincinnati and down to the Louisville area. And the track, I mean, you sit up at the top of the grandstands, you can look out and look in 3 different states. You got Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, pretty much. Really unique how that works. It's actually a cool track to go to. Telder going to the top side. The problem is this track's so wide, I don't know if you can protect all the groups. As caution comes back out. Landon Durhold spinning. Dylan Rosenberg also involved. And did Telder get sent packing? Oh, what's this? Durhold's Kevin Harvick paint scheme here. The Reese's Fast Break car got destroyed. Yeah, a couple of wrecks here to keep track of. What happened to Telder? First, well, let's see what happened to start the caution. Kyle Ether got in the back of the 94 and he gets clobbered by the 2, or the 91, I'm sorry. I didn't see what started the contact though. What's already happening here? Let's back it a little further. See it. I was trying to click on something over to the left there. One more time. Oh, so Landon gets loose and then Kyle finishes him off. Okay. That brings that out. And then what happens with Mr. Telder? Oh, Cornwell turns him. There's the caution coming out. Telder gets out of the gas and Cornwell just runs him over. And I did see Telder got his spot back, so he is the leader still. I'm sure some people chirping now over that. And then what happened on the restart? Let's go back to that. Telder's on pit road now. I saw them check up. 16 was trying to go, I think, and Gagne was waiting for everybody to go, and just a little bit of a checkup. Let's see if we can go a little further up. All right, so they're coming out turn 4, and again, the rules in this league are as soon as the pace car pulls off, leader can go. Telder chooses to wait, which is his right. And there's no Geico restart zone here at this old track. So he waits. Everybody's trying to anticipate. 16's trying to go, and, well, he turns the 79. All right, so cars on pit road. Looks like getting fuel and damage fixed. It's been a wild 21 laps already here. So Cornwell's going to take the top side here. Brandon Alphen going to go to the bottom. Casey Carrington up to the 4th position there next to Colby Wells. Then you got Alex Bryson, Stephen Miles, Christopher Dean, Ty Young, Logan Dinsmore, and Kyle Ethier. Your top 10. And what has seen a little bit of a hectic start here. All right, pace truck going to pull off. Let's see if we can get this race into a rhythm now. After we get these first 3 cautions out of the way, might spin the tires here a little bit with the horsepower. As they go back green, Cornwell leading him from the top side. Roderick Moore, appreciate you watching us on the stream tonight, sir. Down the back straightaway, here comes Alphen to the inside. You can see how bumpy turn 3 and 4 is. The character in this track is so cool. And Brandon Alphen back to the lead. Lap number 24. Colby Wells up to 2nd. Here comes Carrington looking for that 3rd position. Looks like speed's about 185 miles an hour down into turn 3. And that sweeping corner. Helmet cam from Ty Young here in the 28. What kind of speeds he's running. Again, free there through the corner. As you see Kyle Ethier coming through, dives it in there to the bottom. The sweeping turn number 3. $9,600 I saw RPM wise down to turn 1. Bryson putting the attack on the 22. The battle for 5th. Cornwell trying to hold off as Miles has gone by. Miles going to battle with Carrington up there. Ethier, Alex Bryson all in this picture here. Everybody getting singled out now and hopefully into a rhythm, as we mentioned a little bit ago. You know, sometimes you get a break where you get a week off or something. And, ooh, look out, guys. And it can be kind of hectic when you get back out there. But that break was much needed with the rain coming out now on iRacing, which we won't have any here. You know, the new tracks and stuff, the SRX car, which a lot of people have gotten into. So it got them a chance to go enjoy that, but also allow changes to cars or setups or whatever to happen without many issues. That's kind of the reason why we decided to take the break last week when we did. And now we can go finish these last 2 weeks of racing, hopefully without a hiccup, as Carrington and Miles battle for 3rd. As Casey clears him. Lead only about about a tenth right now between Alfin and Colby Wells. We'll keep an eye on that battle, but I'm watching these guys back here. The hornet's nest of cars right here. And you have about 12 cars sitting right here. This is pretty much from 5th all the way down to 17th in this pack right here. As Colby Wells, by the way, has passed Brandon Alfin for the lead while we were watching these guys race. Let's watch the pass happen here. Colby sends at 45 down to the bottom lane, makes the pass cleanly on the 21, so another lead change. As we're 3 wide back here, 2 different rows of 3 wide. Sammy Davis setting it in there on Cornwell. And then back behind them, you've got a couple of the Treehouse cars with Eurykio, who's got a similar paint scheme, which is always confusing, to Lewis back here. Josh Dillon in this battle. Cornwell's off the pace. He might be coming to pit road here. Randy pitted at lap 5, and he gets tagged by Elder and spun around. Nobody's around him, so there's not going to be a caution. That ought to be interesting to look at. As Dean battling with Gibson here, or I'm sorry, it's Dinsmore. I keep thinking it's Jacob Gibson in that subway car. It was actually Dinsmore that got in the back earlier, that 79, I think, as Cornwell leaves the pits, but unfortunately going to lose some track position with the little tag to pit road. Now, obviously, we don't know if Randy called out his pit or not. We saw him pull down. But let's watch the entry here. Obviously, pulls down. Which the $1 million question, did he come over chat and say I'm pitting? Because obviously got everybody else coming at full tilt here. And Elder tries to miss him. He just clips him in the right rear. So if there was any thought of something like that after the contact earlier, you take that away, it looks like. But now look at this. The 2-car battles become 4. Here's Miles and Carrington. Have caught Wells and Alfin. Miles up to second, now looking for the lead as he just continues to work on that racecraft. He's been running over at Sim 500 on Sunday nights, and he's pretty much said to me that that is the toughest racing he's ever been a part of, and he's vowed to get better at it. So that scares me to know that he's got so much room to get better at. As he and Carrington go first and second here, you wonder if Wells and Alfin maybe burned their tires up a little bit. So when will these guys come to pit road? They pitted at lap 14. And looks like right now's the answer. Here comes Miles. Here comes Wells. Here comes Alfin. And they're all about spinning over here. A lot of cars coming to pit road right here. You'll be able to see on the right who's on pit road and who's doing their pit stop times and stuff like that. Alfin overshoots its pit stall. It's not going to help him. There's now Carrington on pit road. Gagnon, also Christopher Dean and Chris Lewis, those guys on pit road. Everybody 4 tires and fuel, it looks like here. There's Carrington, 4 tires and fuel for the 37 car. Let me add the pit lap so that everybody knows right there on the right who came to pit road at what lap. So you can see obviously right here at the top 5, top 6 have not been to pit road for this lap 40 cycle. As now Telder leads with Eurykio, Martin, Beaver, Mertez, and Melnick. And then it cycles back, looks like Stephen Miles right now. Mertez with that heavy left front damage. As you see the swan of cars coming past with the fresher tires here. Yeah, there's a big cycle of pit stops. I think you're going to see one more stop between here. And I think that's going to decide, do you take the other set of tires you have, or do you go fuel only and maybe you play out hoping for a caution? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what this next set of stops coming up here in a few laps will do. But first you got to get through these. Is Martin, Beaver, and Mertez on pit road, so that leaves 3 cars left. Telder, Eurykio, and Melnick playing the caution strategy here potentially. As I think Telder's going to come to pit road here. As you see him slow it up, 45-mile-an-hour speed limit right at that cone there. I think it was Melnick up in the outside wall there. So this is your new lead battle as Colby Wells has gone by Stephen Miles. Eurykio leaves the pit, so 1 car left to pit here during this cycle. As Devin Ramsey helps me out, telling me it's 22 laps. So yeah, 1 more stop to the finish in this race. Here's Ty Young back here with Dean. You do got some cars like Dean and Telder are not on tires here, so you're going to see the guys on 4 tires kind of blow their doors off here. So Melnick on pit road, so that's going to cycle everything back around. With 37 laps to go, it is Colby Wells now at the front, Stephen Miles second, Bryson third, and then it's a 4-second gap back to Casey Carrington in 4th, and then Ty Young in the 5th position. I'll have to look at the pit entrance of Carrington's, because how Colby and Miles and Bryson got out so far on 1 lap separation. Pit times are about a second separation between new and old tires. That is a pretty substantial gap. As the battle for 5th here is Ethier to the inside of Ty here. Move down to the 5th position here is Gibson back here. Getting mixed up with the 16 car as he battles with the 6 of Sammy Davis. And then Another question. I know Alfin slid past his pit stall, but he is all the way back here in the 10th position now. So what happened to Brandon? People having issues on their pit stops. Especially this late into the season now as Lewis goes by Alfin. You cannot have a mistake happen with this tight of a points battle. Yes, you do have the drop weeks, which are going to come into play, but you know, still, you want to get your best finishes each and every week. You're almost playing with fire at that moment. As Dinsmore goes past Alfin. Check the right side of his car. His car's clean, so Brandon must be doing something different here. I don't know exactly if he's maybe trying to save his tires for the last run and plans on doing no tires. I mean, that is my only thinking here. When do you come to pit road with the run about 22 laps? 39 would get you to 61, which is 9 laps away, which, that leads a whole nother conundrum here. Devin says 22 laps. 22 from 39 is 61. 61 from 85, 24. Do we have a pit strategy going on with Brandon Alfin now with gas? That's maybe what's going on here. Alfin's starting to save gas now to maybe cut a lap out here and then cut another lap out maybe in the run later on, where others might be trying to save in that last run. But then you got the guys that pitted at like 44, Telder, Craig Martin, Eurykio, Mertes, these guys towards the back. They're going to be good to go once you get to, we'll just call it lap 85, 84, 85, so, or I'm sorry, 64, 65. Interessante. As Cornwell goes a lap down. Wells leads by 0.6 over Miles, Bryson third, and then Carrington, who's starting to reel in. And Carrington might have been saving fuel. That's part of the reason maybe why he fell back. And I thought something might be wrong. Jedi mind tricks. Oh yeah, look at that. He's shutting the engine off right there. This is the perfect track to do it at. Shut the engine off right about here. Let the car just coast. That right there is how you save the fuel. And Carrington's still running laps right up there with the leaders right now. As Cornwell's going to come to pit road. Is now Alfin looking inside of Dylan, so Brandon's starting to, I think, turn it back on here. As Miles going to the front. As the 24 back to the lead here, lap number 57. Wells back to second, Bryson to third, Carrington to fourth, Davis now your top 5, and he's trying to hold off Ty Young. You see Cornwell come off of pit road. So again, Thursday night we'll be at Michigan for the Truck Series. And then it is Talladega for the Cup cars next week to finish it out. And then Daytona for the trucks to finish out that end of the deal for this season of racing in TI. And but still got plenty of laps to figure out what is going to happen here as everybody tries to get to that pit window. Carrington's gotten to the back bumper of Bryson as he tries to get around him. And Bryson's going to come to pit road here. 26 to go. Can they make it that far as Colby locks it down? We're going to use their last set of tires here, it looks like. Stephen Miles now to pit road. As you see to the right, you see the laps that will change on the grid here of when they've been to pit road, and then of course their times you'll see. So Sammy Davis took no tires, or at least none. Could have taken 2. Looks like Cornwell, same situation. Gibson and Young take 4. Kobe Wells with 4. As here's Miles. He's taking tires, it looks like. Dinsmore, fuel only at least. I say at least because it's hard to tell with a 9-second stop if they do 2 tires or not. So that's why I kind of throw a question mark in there when I say 2 tires potentially. Or fuel. Chris Lewis on pit road. What's he do? 4 tires, it looks like, at least. As Carrington comes to pit road, so does Josh Dillon. Kyle Ethier now. As Brandon Alphen picks up the lead of this race. And I say Alphen, I meant Craig Martin. Craig Martin's actually leading this race, so I stand corrected there. Martin, Alphen, Telder, Mertez, as Alphen comes to pit road now, lap 64. Mertez locking it down. And we're at 20 to go right now, so pretty much everybody who pits here can make it. So 4 tires and fuel for Brandon Alphen as Craig Martin and Matt Telder come to pit road with 20 to go, coming to 19. So that leaves, what, 4 cars, 3 cars, 2 cars left to pit now? Martin with 4 tires, Telder 4 tires, slower 4-tire stop. So Beaver takes 4. I'm assuming Eurykio's going 4. So once Melnick comes to pit road, that is going to be your leader of the race, it looks like. Colby Wells is going to have about an 1/8 of a second lead. You saw Miles go by. Then it's going to be Bryson, and then it's about a 4-second gap back to Casey Carrington. Now Bryson might have taken 2 tires. I've got to check on that, as he had an 8.6 second stop, and of course Sammy Davis, you just don't know. As Ethier goes underneath Lewis, that's for 9th. Move him up a spot. As Melnick comes to pit road now. Here comes Carrington inside Bryson for 3rd. That's 4 fresh tires versus none, or 2. Unfortunately for Casey, he's 5 seconds back. However, he's got 2 laps on Miles and Wells when it comes to potentially making it on fuel. Colby's going to have to go 25 laps, where Miles has to go 24 laps. Carrington only 22 laps. So you think Casey's probably good to go. Are the other 2 good to go? Let's do some riding on board here and see what we got. Right on board with Miles. He's shutting his engine off. You can hear it right there. By the way, how hard that is to do in the middle of the corner, because you're likely pushing into clutch with your left foot, which means you got to use your right foot to brake. That can throw you out of rhythm. It does me all the time. Let's go to Colby Wells and see what he's doing. He's going full tilt, so if we see... By the way, Alex Bryson just came to pit road and took tires. Looks like 2 tires for Bryson, so he knew he wasn't going to make it on fuel, so he went ahead and come to pit road. You wonder if it's the same boat for Wells. Oh, this is going to get interesting, a fuel mileage race. Could you imagine if Carrington came back and won this race after having his issues with the him staying in the race or whatever? Starts in the back. How about Jacob Gibson? Let's give him a shout out. 4th position here in the 19 car. Up 10 spots from starting 14th. I think this might be his best finish in the league if he can finish where he's at. Ty Young right there behind him in the 5th position. All right, Colby Wells is on pit road, so he knows he wasn't going to make it. Oh my gosh. It's going to come down to Miles versus Carrington for the win. And if Miles can make it, or does Casey Carrington get his 5th win, and probably the more dramatic way he can get it. And then more importantly, Brandon Alfin's all the way back here in the 7th position right now. I mean, talking to Casey last week, he was worried because of the drop weeks that are set up in here, that one bad race could ruin everything, even though he's had almost the perfect season, if you will. Because of just how tight the points are, and now, I mean, this might be his opportunity to stretch this thing out before Talladega next week. There's Miles 3.3. Let's check on how he's doing fuel-wise here. Yeah, he's still shutting it off. As he puts a lap on Josh Dillon. He's going to get tight here because of just that low entry. Young under attack is Ethier. Trying to get those 28 cars. We come to 6 laps to go this time by. Ethier 3-lap newer tires. That'll make a little bit of a difference there. And allow him to make the pass. Move Ethier to 3rd, or make that 4th. Ty Young back to 5th. Everybody else pretty spread out now. The $1 million question is 1, can Miles save enough fuel? But 2, if he doesn't save enough fuel, or does save enough fuel, can Carrington get to him as Dean is on pit road? This is going to be close. It's going to be really close. There's enough bourbon in that tank. Dean leaves pit road. Jacob Gibson to pit road. So he is short on fuel. Can Ty make it? It's the next question. Because out of all the cars, Ty now is the only one that pitted on lap 60 that has not come to pit road. Miles pitted at 61. Ethier at 63. Throw this up here on the board for you so you can see how close it is. You see Young here in 4th, 60, 61 for Miles, 63, 63 second and 3rd. Lewis at 62. Martin and Telder, no problem, 65 and 65 apiece. And all this is doing is helping Brandon Alphin as he's now going to pass Lewis for 5th. Carrington's got it down to 2 seconds. As Miles going to bring it down to the white flag, final lap. Can he make it 1.5 miles? Carrington got it down to 1.7, down to 1.6. As Stephen Miles is going to have enough to go to victory lane here at Kentucky and keep himself in the race for the championship. As Miles wins it, Carrington 2nd. Ethier's going to end up third. And Ty Young's going to end up fourth, so he made it on fuel. Brandon Alphin, your top 5. Question is, how much gas has Miles got to do donuts here? I think there's your answer. I think he ran out. I can't tell if he's doing donuts or not. I got the audio low in my ears. Yeah, his car's not even moving. So, Miles obviously going to victory lane here tonight. Let's take a look at the finishing order. Maybe. There we go. As Miles wins it, Carrington second, Ethier third. I was actually checking. Whoever set up the stats on Sim Racer Hub, that would be me. Apparently didn't set up a wins column or something. But anyways, Miles wins it. Carrington second, Ethier third. Ty Young fourth, Brandon Alphin fifth. Chris Lewis finishes in the 6th position. 7th goes to Craig Martin. Matt Telder 8th. Josh Dillon 9th. Zach Mertez 10th. Kobe Wells getting 11th. For Miles, that's the 2nd win of the season, by the way. That's what I was trying to find. Kobe Wells 11th. Alex Bryson 12th. Beaver 13th. Eurykio 14th. Logan Dinsmore finishing in the 15th position. The rest of your order, Gibson, Melnick, Davis, Dean, Cornwell, Gagnon, Whitaker, Dylan Rosenberg, Landon Deerhold, and Devin Ramsey goes from first to worst. How humbling iRacing can be. Wins last night and out tonight on lap 7 in that 9 car. So unfortunate deal there. All right, let's talk to our 3 drivers. Starting with Kyle Ethier. Who finishes in the 3rd position tonight. Kyle, man, nice job. Great comeback there. You had to battle a little bit there. I saw you had to start at the back of the pack at one point with the fuel strategy and stuff like that, and had just enough to get to the finish.
Yeah, I wasn't very fast, but yeah, I got caught speeding on that first stop.
Hey.
I thought it was the pit line, not the cone that you had to be speed by. I didn't test in practice.
It's always the cone.
I know, but it's not always the cone.
Find me a track where it's not the cone.
When we were just at India on Friday a couple weeks ago, I don't think it was the cone.
You
But,
just didn't see the cone.
Yeah, no, it was a good race. I don't know how Miles saved that much. I ran out coming across the finish line, and I pitted 2 laps after him. So I'm damn impressed. Shout out to him. Just pretty fun race, I guess.
Yeah, it was interesting, obviously, with the 3 cautions early, and then from there going green the rest of the way.
Yeah, it definitely made the fuel strategy kick into play in this one. Been a few weeks for that, but yeah, I don't know. I never really got a good feel on where I really fit in because everybody was on such different strategies. Guys were just, after that 3rd caution, guys were pitting kind of halfway through, and then I figured a little way through that run, I was like, I think I can make it if I save like a lap each run here, and that's kind of what I did. but I think I end up almost giving up too much the way Miles made it look.
Well, maybe that's the case. I guess that's something we'll have to talk to Miles about here in a second. But he did a good job, I know, shutting the engine off and clutching it through the corners those last couple of runs. And it might have even been a matter of how much he saved beforehand, because I know, like, Brandon, for example, was saving the run before to try to get to the finish. But it all worked out in the end, man. Nice third-place finish. Good comeback, and shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, shout out to have a teammate tonight. Shout out to Randy for being here tonight, and shout out to Ti. Shout out to, I guess I got the Ti paint scheme on, so free advertising for those guys tonight. But yeah, shout out to you putting on the broadcast. Shout out to the Scalacast and Chris, everyone that puts this on, and yeah, it was a good fun race. Another relatively clean one. So
Yeah. I'm noticing a trend here. So great job tonight, man.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, you too, buddy. As Kyle Ethier finishes in the third position here tonight. And the guy that had to work hard to get that second place finish. I'm still trying to figure out what the message meant. Razor's products? What?
Yeah, don't if you're looking to get a headset, especially for gaming purposes, don't buy Razer, buy something else. Their software is absolutely atrocious. It was so bad a couple months ago that their Reddit group for Razer, the mods had to walk it down because
Really?
they pushed an update that was so bad that ruined the sound so bad with it. It's just all people were talking about.
So is this like a sound thing? Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's just that their sound software is terrible and really buggy, and I was trying to fix mine because it caused my PC to freeze Friday night right before
okay.
All-American.
Right.
So to avoid that, I was going to restart my PC tonight to fix that because the same thing was happening. And then when I restarted my PC, wouldn't you know, Razer had a software update, and that's what kept me out of
good
qualifying.
grief. Okay.
So yeah, but I mean, hey, a hell of a drive on my part, and
Yeah.
an even better drive on Miles' part. I love that stuff. I drove, I think, probably the best race I've done all season, and he still had me by straight away. So he was just freaking just flawless tonight. It reminded me of me at Indy, kind of with just the master class of fuel saving while also going fast. I thought with about 10 to go, I was gonna have a chance to run him down, but he just he even had more fuel save than I did at the end, which boggled my mind. Cause yeah, I mean that's just he was able to go fast. He was faster the whole night, but able to go faster and fuel save just as good as I did. So yeah, fun race. I mean it felt like it was 3 hours. I'm sure it was only like 45 minutes, but but it was a fun race.
I was gonna say, talk about the this is one of those tricks, this track here, with the way this car drives, because you got a lot of off throttle time at a track like here. So he's obviously clutching it as he was doing, going into the corners. But there's almost a trick and an art to it to where you could save fuel going into the corners, but also slow the car down at the proper speed to run the lap times to stay normal.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, I don't want to give away the whole book of secrets here, but I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube
kinda
videos
did.
talking about it. You know, I mean, if it's one of those things, if you lift 50, 100 feet earlier than you normally would, you're not really losing any speed because you've already pretty much hit top speed for the straightaway.
Right.
And then you're cutting the engine all the way through, and pretty much the trick is just to stay on the clutch until where you get to the point where you normally would pick the throttle back up mid-corner anyway. I mean, at a track like Texas last Friday, there's so much on-throttle time you can't really save a whole lot without losing time. But here, I mean, I set a purple sector when I came out of the pits there clutching, and I mean, I ran Bryson down and passed him, and I could hear that he wasn't clutching just because when I'd be mid-corner, my engine would be silent, and I could hear his, you know,
Right.
a few car lengths ahead of me. So that just shows that, you know, if you do it right, yeah, at a track like this, I mean, like I said, you go to a Bristol or a Texas or somewhere like that, you're gonna have to sacrifice time to save fuel. But here, there's so much off throttle time, and you're rolling the corner so much that that it kind of is a wash if you do it right, you know. And you also got to pay attention to the tire wear, because if you're clutching, you're rolling into the corner with more cornering speed 'cause
Right,
you don't have the
yep.
engine braking, so you're gonna heat up the right front. And thankfully, with this league, the runs are so short that tires don't matter as much. I was really wishing that first run would have went longer fuel-wise, because I was really running them down there right before we pitted the first time under green. But you know, it's just an art. It's something I used to be terrible at, and you know, since I got into this league, it's just you have to be good with your fuel strategy. You got to have good hot lapping pace. You got to be able to not melt your tires off. I mean, you've pretty much got to be like a 5-tool driver to do well in this league, and Miles had all 5 tools on display tonight.
Well, you did a great job yourself, man. At first, I'm like, man, this might be the night he needed, because I know you're pretty worried with the way the championship's set up and stuff. And unfortunately, Alphen did get back to 5th, but still able to gain some points even though where you started, you're able to gain points walking out of here, or at least match them.
Oh yeah, I mean, a second place, even if I'd started like third or fourth, would have been satisfactory, especially with Alfin being fifth. Miles is probably going to be the main worry going into Talladega, but I mean, it's Talladega. Anything can happen. Hell, we could all get taken out in the first lap, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know what my strategy is going to be for that next week, but hey, kind of going into the wild card, whatever happens, happens. If I get taken out in a wreck or if I get ganged up on in the last restart, whatever. I mean, I did pretty much everything I could, with the exception of Iowa a couple weeks ago, to put myself in position to win. So whatever happens from here on out happens.
There you go, man. That's the fun part. No offense to you on our side, the wild side, the broadcast side. But yeah, and we've never seen a points leader get taken out on lap 1 in a race there. So
No, never. Not, especially not in this league. No.
nope, not at all.
Uh-uh.
Anyways, great job. Shout out.
Well, that third place finisher. Shout out to all my team: Showtime Racing, Craig, Josh Dillon, Steve Melnick. Daniel. I guess he had sunburn on his butt or something. Couldn't race tonight. I don't know exactly what the deal was there. He said he was at the beach too long. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I'm pitching Dominion right now.
But shout out to everybody that watched. I hope it was an entertaining race. I know field mileage races and long green flag runs can kind of get boring if you're not in the driver's seat, but that was probably one of the most intense races I've run in the last month or two. Just go fast, save fuel, not knowing if you're going to make it, not knowing if the guys around me were going to make it. So I hope it was enjoying, and I'm sure you did a good job of translating that,
Trying
as far
to.
as, yeah, trying to explain why it's these cars that are half a lap apart are actually in a heated battle right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to all of them. Shout out to Chris for putting on the week. He, managed to not mess up anything this week, so that's an improvement.
He said he messed up cars tonight.
Yeah. But shout out to you for doing the broadcast, and like I said, shout out to Miles, man. That was I felt kind of bad after Friday night where I held him up so bad. He probably could have had a second place had I not been in the way, but he just drove a perfect race. I mean, I hate to say I'm proud of him because that's kind of belittling. I mean, it's not like he needs my approval, but he did probably one of the best races I've seen him drive the year or so that I've been racing with him.
Well, you did your part tonight too. And just quick side note here: how much of a nostalgic feel did you get tonight running these cars on this surface?
Yeah, I mean, I went back to the Pontiac for that Pontiac 37 usually ran pretty good here at Legacy, Kentucky, and yeah, it's fun. I mean, I like the off throttle. We come from, like I said, a track like last Friday night where there's pretty much no off throttle time, to a place like this where you just got to roll and roll and roll and roll the corner, and it's
And it was so loose on exit, you look like.
yeah. I mean, I was even clutching. I was burning the right rear up more than it was the right front. So
Wow.
it was a lot of fun. I hope, like I said, people enjoyed watching it.
All right, great job, man. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you.
All right, buddy. Casey Carrington's second place finish tonight as he's going to Bristol now. Oh boy, for that. And let's move him there. Our winner tonight is they're in a chat right now, and I think I know what that chat's about, but I'm gonna pull him up here with me as he gets interrupted. Yeah, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Winner, congratulations on the win, Casey. Obviously giving you a lot of credit. He actually said that he felt this was probably, in the year he's known you, the best race he's ever seen you run. Which you run a lot of good races. Now, obviously, that's from his seat. So obviously, you had to do a lot of work to win that race.
Yeah, it was tough, man. The overcast conditions threw a curveball. It just had so much grip in the track. It was much different what I anticipated, and we barely race in the daytime. We practice all in the daytime, in the morning, in the noon, and then next thing you know, we race 10, 20 laps, get a couple cautions. It's nighttime already, so it's I guess it's hard to gauge what type of setup you want to put underneath the car at that point. But I mean, I started fifth, messed up qualifying run. I was trying to get as many points as I can because with Casey, he doesn't fall off at all. He doesn't have many bad races, so you got to capitalize on everything you can. And I think I started fifth, and was just taking my time there, letting those guys race, and caution come out, and it goes back to the fuel strategy, man. Just like how every race pretty much being, or how I lost it or whatever. And I just came in the pit just so I could see try to even out the laps, because if you didn't, you was gonna have to make an extra stop with 5 to go if it went green. And I thought we might have done that. So just run in there and flip flop and stay out, come in, don't take tires. And once I got in the clean air, probably like the top 4 or 5, that's when she woke up and she was fast, man. It's hard to pass in these cars, or how iRacing is now. It's hard to pass on the bottom of any track now. So it was tough, man. And for me to do it how I did it, it was a strong race tonight, man.
Yeah, and obviously, saving the fuel, as you mentioned, I was on board with you a few times as you were clutching it through the corners, and
Hey, man, don't be.
hey,
Don't be
I was how am I going to know who's saving fuel and who's not? I was on board you, and then I go to Colby and he's wide open. I'm like, he's not making it, and then I go to you, I'm like, he's going to make it, and then obviously Carrington pitted way later than you guys, so I knew he was good.
Yeah, when me, Casey, and Kobe was racing there towards one of those end of those stints, and me and Kobe came and pit. I got the lead and I short pitted a lap, and I knew like it was just like Indy, just you want to get every lap you can just to pad that fuel load,
Right.
and I just wanted to pit there. I just felt like I needed to pit there, and Casey stayed out probably a lap later, and I knew that's how it was going to be towards the next run, so. I think I got loose out of 4, trying to push it, let Kobe go by, and when I ran him down towards the end of that second last run, I think I saved. I wasn't clutching. I was just getting out of the throttle earlier, picking it up easy, and I stayed probably like a lap, and then I ran it all the way to the end of my fuel, and then when I came out. Right then I knew I needed to start saving. I wanted to see where Casey was, try to manage that lead between me and him, even though I was in second place, because I felt like Kobe pitted ahead of me, so he's gonna have to save more than me. So if he's not doing that, then I'm in the catbird seat, and I saved every lap, managing my speed and my lap times, and managing how fast Casey was gonna catch me. And when he got to like 2.5 seconds, and I realized that I'm pretty much to the good, I kept doing it just to assure myself to making around. And that last lap, I had a lap and a half save, and I just pushed it that last lap. But I appreciate the lap cars get out of the way. I appreciate my teammates and all of them for giving me the information I need. And I mean, I had to learn from so many losses this season from the strategy. So I pretty much, I capitalized on it and I learned from it. And I pretty much knew like everybody else probably didn't think I could make it. So I was 3 to 4 laps short, and I was able to save 5.5 laps. So that's just something I'm putting in my book for my experience for any other field strategy races coming soon.
Well, as the points are updated, they're actually working for me, I can get them updated here. You now sit tied for second with 5 points separating the top 3 drivers going to Talladega next week.
I just ever since Indy, man, when that little crazy loss. I mean, how I
The
lost
nose
it
deal.
like that. Yeah, the nose deal. Ever since then, man, I said I wasn't gonna watch it no more, man, because I felt like just like I did tonight. That was my same strategy in Indy, so I felt like I could do the same there. And I mean, it was bad way how I lost it. And I felt like I lost the championship there, but we're just gonna give it all. Me and Alvin, you know how we are with tandem pushing, and AB, we all of us experienced restricted plate drivers, and we know how Ti get at restricted plate races, especially towards the last lap. So it's a crapshoot, but we're just gonna go in there with our heads held high and try to get this team championship first, and which one of us try to get the championship later. If Casey get it, I mean the best driver won, because you already know Casey's one of the best of the best. I respect him a ton, so it is what it is.
Let me actually do one update real quick here, because I just realized I do got to update the number, so that might not be accurate. It was 5. Now that I add the 7th race into the counted races, because there's a little trick to it.
Still 5.
You would think, but it is now. Yeah, it's still 5. So good call.
I knew
it. So
that's just my luck.
There you go. So you still got 5 on it. So
I got 5 on it.
Oh, there goes my stream. Shout outs. Oh wait, you already gave shout outs, right? I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm too tired.
Shout out my teammates, Dean, Alvin, Lewis, Bryson, Ti Racing. Appreciate you. Best broadcaster, put on a hell of a show every night. Shout out to Scholarcast. Wow, Scholarcast. It should be dropping tomorrow. Got some a good guest on there that y'all want to hear, and good topics y'all want to listen to. And we need y'all input on this sometimes. And thank God, thank my girlfriend, and thank Draco, my newborn.
There you go. And anybody has any pick advice for Miles, please help him. So.
It's all good.
No, in all fairness, we should have the Scalicast. Actually, the first part of it should be out tonight. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to work on it. So.
Yeah, that's why you are the man.
We'll see. I got some work to do. So, all right, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
You too. Stephen Miles, who unfortunately wasn't able to join us tonight for the 11th episode. Work got in his way tonight. And so on and so forth. So, all right. Good race. Good fun race. I think there's some garage activity going on, but I'm not going to get into detail about it. I'm going to go talk to some people before I go any further. But next week, as you heard Miles mention, it's Talladega. It is a wild card. And obviously, when you got 3 drivers within 5 points of each other, it's going to get down to business. And the best thing, it's going to sound like the weirdest thing in the world to do. But I think if I'm Casey Carrington, I almost follow the TI guys the whole time and just ride with them. And how weird that sounds or whatever, that's just my first thought as I think this through. I'm sure more will come to my brain as I think more. Anyways, Thursday, next TI race will be at Michigan for that one. And then after that, it is all Bristol, Friday, Sunday, and Monday for All-American and Sim 500. Tomorrow night, GLSR back in action. Series race number 1 of the Premier Series from the Auto Club Speedway. So looking forward to that one tomorrow night. So come and join us at 9 p.m. for that as we go racing on Wednesday nights here on the Captain Esports Network. Otherwise, let's head out, and I'm going to go get some sleep. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night, and always remember, this isn't just a game. It is iRacing. See ya!
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for your continued support, and he hopes you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation. From the Captain Esports Network.